Eloro put out two news releases this week. One was on metallurgy. Okay, usually metallurgy drives people crazy. They read these news releases and they're like, I don't understand what they're saying. Okay, so I'm going to try to decipher this because it is actually very, very good news. Okay, first of all, the company submitted 3 samples for metallurgical work, and these came from core that was drilled in holes over the past few months here. So hole DHK 15, and produced 1 sample for test work, and then DHK 18, another sample for test work, and then DSB 06, yet another sample. Now the first 2 samples, you can see the analyses here. They're running about, we'll call it an ounce per ton, so 31-ish grams silver on average. But they're also running about 2-3% combined lead zinc. All right, and that's what these systems are. Now there is a bit of tin in there too. There's 0.12%, which doesn't sound like a lot, but dollar wise, that's quite a bit of value in that tin. Now a lot of people have yelled and screamed and said, oh my gosh, the system has arsenic. What are you talking about? Okay, here's some arsenic numbers. These numbers are actually quite low when you compare it to many systems, even in Bolivia. Okay, so the whole notion that there's some arsenic issue or whatever, I don't know where that got started, but you can see right here, the numbers are right in front of you. And odds are that arsenic is probably associated with pyrite, which you're not going to float anyway. So it's going to go off into the tailings. So no, there is no problem with that. Indium, by the way, most people don't know about indium, but those are pretty good numbers. Okay, smelters love indium. Okay, if you make a concentrate that has a fair bit of indium, you can actually get paid, a bonus for that. So that's a big plus there too. Now let's go to the results. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, so the 2 samples that were predominantly silver, lead, zinc are shown here. They've got results back in hand from these. And what you're seeing in the pink box there, that is simply a measure of the grade of the concentrate that's produced. And in the case of, they're producing 2 concentrates. Okay, so they take the rock, they grind it down, and then they put it through flotation tests. Flotation is when you float using bubbles, we'll call it, detergents and bubbles. You float off minerals. Okay, believe it or not, bubbles adhere to certain minerals, and then they bring them up to surface in a tank, and they can skim those off and collect them. Okay, so galena, which is one of these minerals, has lead, but it also usually is an association with the silver. All right, so they produced a lead concentrate here. And then what the numbers are telling you is that the concentrate has a heck of a lot of silver. Excuse me. It's got a little over 1 kilogram of silver per ton. And then the lead grade itself is about 57%, which is very, very good for a lead concentrate. So, hey, you've got great lead cons coming out of this thing. Let's look at the zinc. Okay, some of the silver reports to the zinc concentrates. That's great. And here you can see the zinc concentration is about 50%. It's pretty good for zinc smelters. That's a pretty good product, and that silver credit is a bonus. Okay, so that's certainly sellable anywhere on the planet. Over here, you see the recoveries. In the red box, it shows you what the recoveries are. It's basically 68% of the silver reports to the lead, and then 26 reports to the zinc. So the overall recovery of silver from these test works is nearly 90%. Okay, that's really very good actually for these types of deposits. I know a lot of the mines down in Bolivia, their recoveries might be 70%, say, combined in the zinc and the lead cons. So the silver recovery is quite good. The lead recovery is very good, 87%. Again, a lot of the mines in Bolivia I know about usually produce maybe 80-85% recoveries. Zinc is great recovery, 87%. Again, great recovery. So we got great recoveries producing a great concentrate. That's a win. Okay, and the same thing can be seen in the other sample on the right there. You got the green box. You can see again, you in this case, you're producing a high silver con into the lead, very good quality lead con. And then some of the silver is going into the zinc con. Again, you're producing a very high quality zinc con. Now, over here in the blue box, you can see the recoveries. Interestingly, a lot more silver is reporting to the zinc con in this case. So you end up with an overall, again, 80% recovery, over 80% recovery of silver. That's great outcome. Your lead recovery is a little bit less than this one. That's actually probably more typical of most Bolivian deposits I know about. but the zinc recovery is very high. Okay, so this tells me that they have a great metallurgical path. Now, they're doing work on the tin now. They haven't got the numbers back for the tin, but as I understand it from the news release, they have opportunity to take the tailings from the processing of the lead and zinc and then put it through a tin flotation and hopefully recover the tin, the cassiterite. So the key takeaway on that note is it is in the form of cassiterite, which is really good because odds are they can float that tin and make a tin concentrate from the after they've treated for lead and zinc here. So this is a great outcome, and it really bodes well for the outcome of the project. Let's go to the next slide. This is a news release that came out subsequent to the metallurgy news release. It talks about some more drill results, in particular at one very deep hole, hole number 2, DSBS2. Now, I'm going to show you the leapfrog model at the end of this presentation, so I'm not going to talk a lot about it here. I'm just going to highlight that they had yet another astounding drill hole from more or less the core of the system where they've been drilling so far. And I'll show you in 3D what that looks like here in a minute. Firstly, we're going to look at Eloro's project, Iska Iska. We're going to look straight down on the drilling so far. And what I do is I have my guy keep track of the news releases and then put those into a 3D model. So he takes the data, from to and so forth, and the grade, and he puts it into this database in which we can keep track of things. Now, what I had him do here is I had him highlight the holes that came out here. This hole right here that I've just flagged, that is hole 2, and it basically undercuts from south to north. It undercuts this big area that's been the focus of a lot of drilling at Santa Barbara. And you can see there's some nice, robust intervals in here and very good grade in places too. About 67%, I believe, so 2/3 of that drill hole was mineralized. And you can see if I spin it around, it really builds things out. It shows the system goes to depth, and it shows that we have a huge volume of a good continuity of mineralization in the Santa Barbara area. Again, it's wide open at depth. If you see any blank holes like this guy here, that's a hole that's been drilled but hasn't been assayed yet. Okay, so the blank holes are ones that we're awaiting assays for, and he's just put them into the model so that we're ready when the data comes. Okay, the other hole that was talked about was this guy right here. Okay, this is DCP9. It is one of the first holes drilled into the Porco area. And notice, most of the mineralization that was encountered is towards the end here. Now, there's a few pops and whistles up here, so it's not devoid, but most of the mineralization that was encountered was down here. Now, I'm going to do something. I'm going to go down and turn on a layer here that shows you something very interesting. Okay, the hole actually passes through this image right there, and it goes to the other side, so you can't see the bottom. But what we're looking at here, turn this on semi-transparent so you can see it easier. What we're looking at here is this big pink blob, which has been hypothesized. We call it the Porco porphyry. We've hypothesized that is, an ore forming system. Something, perhaps a magnetic center, a driver for the system. And lo and behold, the mineralization is heating up as it's getting in. Now, it didn't go right into the hearts of the thing. It really kind of glanced along the northern edge of it. But I think that's a very good outcome there. It's showing that there's a lot of mineralization down associated with that geophysical feature. So again, day by day, step by step, this project just improves and improves and improves. It's a remarkable system. If we look straight down on it, let's just step back and do the 35,000 foot thing. You can see from here, we'll just measure it from there down to here where the southernmost assayed hole is right now. That's 2.2 kilometers, of strike. So, that's what I call a big system. Not unlike what I just talked about with our friends at Bald Eagle Gold.